Hey, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
WokeNFree.
Thank you for tuning in to our 106th episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week we're talking all about but why people lie. And that rhymes, so that's awesome.
Good job. Excellent job.
Muy bueno. So before we dive deep into the subject, a couple of questions / statements / let's just start this monologue. Have you downloaded this episode on Podbean? If not, please go to WokeNFree.com. Listen to this episode and download the episodes, guys. We are building the podcast on our new hosting platform of Podbean, and we really greatly appreciate your support. Every download counts. Every listen counts. So thank you for all that have been rocking with us, and keep on rocking. You also listen to us on any other platform? So you'll find WokeNFree on 25 in total different platforms, including Podbean. And you'll also hear us on iTunes. You can hear us on TuneIn, on Stitcher, on iHeartRadio. Oh, goodness gracious, on everywhere. It's maddening. Just go to WokeNFree.com and click on the page that says listen, and those are all the different platforms. Spotify, yes. Shout out to we get a lot of love on Spotify. So yes. So go to WokeNFree.com, and if you click on listen, then you can see where you can find us on all our different platforms. And then, of course, guys, don't keep us as your dirty little secret. Share. Sharing is caring. Please share this episode with your friends, with family, with strangers. Just shout out to the world, WokeNFree, and they will know what they need to go and talk about, as our cat does as well. Of course, yes, Toby. Toby said, make sure you check us out on social media. That's what that meow meant. And he wants you to holler at us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even YouTube at WokeNFree. And then, of course, if you haven't reviewed our show, again, if you go to WokeNFree.com, go to listen, then pick any of the platforms you want to review the show on. Because again, your reviews, the stars matter. When you give us 5 stars, it really, really matters. So thank you for the love and support, and the monologue has now ended.
All right.
We'll see if Toby has anything to add to it, though. But
yeah, that was a long one. I also like to mention, though, just about Podbean and commenting on the website. If you download the Podbean app, you can actually comment on our website, and you don't have to actually log in. You can comment as a guest, but all you do is download the Podbean from the Google or Apple Play Store. Then you'll be good. So, yeah, just download the app. You can comment as a guest. You don't even have to log in if you want to leave a comment.
Yeah,
for one of our episodes. So.
Comment away, guys.
So, yeah, make sure just download that Podbean app, even if you don't want to log in. You can comment on our episode. Remember, it's good to comment, share your thoughts. We love it.
Yes.
Each week, we like to share a little bit about us before we dive into the topic for the episode. Last week, we shared, would you rather eat an entire jar of olives or sauerkraut in 15 minutes? This week, we're sharing, would you rather get blindsided at work or blindsided in love?
So I thought that was a deeply, disturbing question. But I think ultimately, my answer speaks to, I think you should definitely probably get blindsided at work, because I think, when it comes to our careers, you can always have a second chance. You can always have a comeback. I think that you can in love as well, but for some reason, at least my experience with certain people in my life, it seems like heartbreak with love seems like far more detrimental to the human soul and spirit than it does like a goof or a gaffe at work. So I think that, personally, I think, your career is important, but you and your career are two separate things. Your career is something that you do, right? And you can always change and reinvent yourself. But love, as we say, right? You believe there's only one love. Yeah. And so why would you want to be heartbroken in love? I think that to me just seems harder of a cost to bear. So blindsided at work. How about you?
Wow. Mine is the exact opposite.
Nice.
I actually choose love because I think that with love, if you're blindsided by it, that probably wasn't the right person, actually.
Wow.
That's what I think.
Okay, that's
I don't think it was like it was the right person that just messed up. I just think maybe you were with the wrong person. That's the only reason it didn't really work out.
Interesting. So you don't think that you could be with the right person and that right person makes a mistake?
Well, makes a huge mistake, like a big mistake in the relationship. No.
Okay.
That's just what I think. Yeah.
Nice pressure on me, guys. You hear that?
Yeah, so that tells the truth about what's going on.
Oh gosh, you're funny, Khalil.
That's a good way to assess the relationship, though. That's the only way to do it.
If you F up, yeah.
Yeah. No, with a big one, that's a red flag. You got to look at that for that. Those signs. Come on, that means something.
Yes.
Like maybe this might be a big one for some people, but why do people lie?
Nice.
They love to do that in a relationship, right?
Human beings like to lie, yes. So I found some interesting research, and guys, all of our research that we refer to or articles, you can find at WokeNFree.com in the episode itself. So definitely make sure you're looking at those episode notes to click away, and definitely check it out on your computer. You can see the pictures and all that good stuff that we have in every episode. So why do people lie? Tad Williams shared on thehopeline.com. We tell lies when we are afraid of what we don't know, afraid of what others will think, afraid of what will be found out about us. But every time we tell a lie, the thing that we fear grows stronger. And then additionally, I thought that was a very profound statement around lying. And then on another article I found on thoughtcatalog.com.
Oh, I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you, but that reminds me kind of like the law of attraction. Because you tell the law, you tell that lie, and then that lie isn't like emblazoned in your mind now. Yeah. Each time you tell it, it's like you're making it true. It gets bigger and attracts more and more. Yeah. That's what I see in that statement.
And thoughtcatalog.com, there's 7 main reasons why people lie. So we'll go through them. 1, to preserve their self-image, and that makes sense, right? Like, everything's fine, even though your foot's half hanging off, right? Like, sure.
But what's good is there's no politician in office that would ever do that.
And you knew. Maybe Obama. He is the unicorn of politics, so maybe he's resolute to not lying. I mean, is there more? Has there ever been? Well, Kennedy. People love Kennedy in this country.
Yeah, but has there ever been a politician that didn't say something that made themselves look good? And it's not like completely the truth.
Yeah, I guess they all are liars.
I mean, come on. It's kind of like the name of the game, right?
It is the name of the game. Shout out to politicians.
Yeah, definitely.
Liar.
They're not going to tell you about that weird cousin they have.
Or their secret fantasy with wearing panties.
Yeah, that can't come out.
No shade there.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Number 2, personality disorders and pathological compulsive lying.
Wow.
So there are people who really just have an issue. The article goes on to say this form of lying stems from a far deeper and darker problem, a personality disorder prone to manipulation, or a pathological issue such as compulsive lying. Those with narcissistic personality disorder or antisocial personality disorder, for example, are known for their pathological lying. They lie in order to deceive, to manipulate, and for their own benefit. I wonder who comes to mind when I'm reading that.
Oh, you think it's compulsive? Wow. Well, to the point of... Is this the one where the person actually believes their lie, or no, that's not actually it? They still know it's a lie.
We'd have to dive deep into the narcissistic personality disorder people to understand those disorders. But essentially they're saying there's like an actual do you say mental or personality issue that's kind of
that's just how who you are as a person. You just lie, and it just comes just comes natural. You just don't know what you would do besides lie. Yeah. Somebody fits that bill really good.
There's a couple of people I think that we could put names to that one.
Yeah, of course.
Interesting. Next in the article is those who lie to protect a relationship or someone else's feelings. So these types of lies are usually told to protect a significant relationship. For example, a man might lie about cheating to a significant other does not break up with him, or a conscientious woman might compliment her friend's attire even if she believes it's hideous, because she doesn't want to hurt that person's feelings.
Is that a lie, though? Or, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right?
If she thinks it's hideous and she's like, girl, you look good.
That's messed up if you say that. You could just say, girl, you look different.
Or in your phrase, well, you have clothes on, yeah.
That's an attire you have on right now.
You're you're not naked, yep.
You've chosen clothes for the day, yeah.
That's a color that you're wearing.
Yeah, so you can just say something that's obvious.
Hideous things like that.
That's not hideous, that's nice. Because at least you're stating the obvious that maybe they didn't know, maybe they forgot their underwear.
But you do realize that because you've done that, I now know that when you're saying that, you're like, girl, go change.
No, that might mean I have interesting feelings about it.
Interesting, taking my word of choice. How about saying, well, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
My favorite word of choice.
That seems ridiculous.
Oh, good Lord. There are people that lie to protect someone else. So this form of lying
definitely
is done with the intention of protecting someone from the consequence of their actions. So a domestic violence survivor might lie about the extent of the abuse she endured in a misguided attempt to protect her abuser. That makes sense. A parent might lie about a child's criminal actions to protect that child from legal consequences that could destroy their life. So, yeah, that's
what I was thinking about. The second one with the legal
parent.
Right? I know people do that.
Like, no, somebody. My son didn't buy a gun to go shoot everyone. Sure.
Well, yeah, I mean,
okay.
Gets tricky there. Yeah.
Okay. People lie to impress people and boost one's reputation. So this is a common form of lying that is normally tied to one's desire to impress society or crucial stakeholders in one's life. Some lie to mitigate or evade conflict. So according to psychologists, some liars deceive in order to avoid conflict and confrontation. Definitely one person's coming to mind when I say that. Wow. And then the last point in the thought article here is instant gratification. Oh, interesting. So if the perceived reward of lying can bring instantaneous results to the person lying, he or she may be more likely to fib. So this form of lying is all about the end result. It occurs when a child promises to clean his room in order to watch his favorite television show, but later fails to do so. And I love that they went with the male pronoun there. Like, are men more inclined to lie? Like,
oh yeah, interesting.
Interesting. What thoughts do you have when it comes to the world of lying and why people do it?
I think you hit on all the main points of why people lie. Like, the personal gain, protecting someone. I think one that wasn't talked about is kind of like for manipulation of others. So
that might be that sociopathic one.
Oh, okay, so maybe if that's tied into there, that's the only other one that I thought of. Like when people tell a lie just to get you to do something.
Well, you know what? I don't know if this article is totally in like. I mean, I'm sure there are other than 7 reasons that you can, but those are probably the same.
And they fall
7
outside of that classification.
But I mean, what about people who lie just because
what?
They just want to they want to see what you have to say, or but maybe that could be impressing. So maybe it falls with it. There might be subcategories.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of covers most of them pretty much. Because you're saying you believe the personality disorder one is the same thing as people being manipulative. Like knowing that they're lying and just trying to get you to do something, you think it could fall into that?
Probably, it could be, yeah.
What about people that don't do it a lot? They only do it just when they
Well, that could just be to impress someone. That could just be for a certain instant gratification. It could, I think
there's some maybe you could throw it under there. But in one way or another, I think a lot of the reasons people lie fit under those 7 categories you brought up. I
mean, I think what's interesting about all of those categories is that it just shows kind of the fallacy of humans, right? And it's just like people will go to extreme lengths to tell a lie as opposed to just telling the truth, which is interesting.
Yeah, but they do it because of the consequences sometimes.
We're all focused on the outcome as opposed to the process. And so because we want something at the end or we don't want something at the end.
You might not want something to occur.
We change our behavior in conjunction with those theories that we think are going to happen. So ultimately, is lying a problem?
I mean, I think it's yes, definitely. Because I hate it when the lies lead to a worse situation where people start covering up lies with more lies. And they don't even, they get to, like I was saying before, they get to the point where they don't even know what's real and what's not real. And then sometimes the lies make the situation a lot worse. Kind of like when we watch Superstore, we're always seeing the main character tell one lie, and then she ends up telling 3 more lies, and then the police are at the store. It builds up to a crazy, there's a crazy build up and there's a crazy end just because her one little lie sparked these other lies.
Yes.
When you could have just told the truth, or you could have just shut your mouth. Those things.
Silencio, madame.
And then and another issue with lies is that it's like you play the telephone game. You tell one person a lie, the lie gets manipulated, so somebody blows up your lie to a crazy proportion. And then it gets even more. It's like an exponential growth to this lying.
It is. It's like permutations of lying, and it just gets crazy.
Yeah. And then you lose sense of what reality is, right?
Definitely.
It's not really good when you're living in this world that doesn't even exist anywhere. Even if there are other dimensions, I don't think that lie exists in there. I think it's just I just think it's a made up thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think there's some alternate universe where your lie came to be.
That's an interesting thought, though. Like,
That'd be
if
funny.
your lie, because if you believe in the multiverse or you believe in multiple versions of ourselves and, whatever. And so, like, in this life, if you say a lie, could that correspondingly create like an alternative version of what you're saying? Like, that's an interesting idea.
It's like, if you say...
Does that become a reality because you spoke it? I mean...
If you say, I hate Oreos in this life, and that's a lie, then in the other life, do you actually really do hate Oreos?
Yeah, that's so interesting. That's a very interesting thought, actually. Huh.
In the other dimension? See, that's why that's crazy.
Guys, listening to WokeNFree in the other dimension, let us know where you're at with that.
The free and woke dimension.
Yes, the free and woke dimension.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness gracious.
It's a strange place.
It is a strange place. Is Simos there too?
No, he better not be. Better not be. It'd be Mo C there.
Oh, good.
It's like
that
upside
is a Planet
down.
of the Apes reference, if you guys did not already know that. Khalil only allows me to say that word once a day.
It's too outrageous.
Because I love that word and that ape so much.
No, you're too outrageous.
Simos, Limos, and Gimos.
No, see. You can't do that. Come on now, you're trying to get around it.
It's abuse what you're doing.
No, it's not abuse. I'm trying to keep everything.
Times. I'm allowed to say ridiculous as much as I
want. That's a fine word. That's why. I'm not the one saying these same words. You got to have a bigger vocabulary. You can't bring up the same words every time.
We're going down a wrong yellow brick road right now.
Yeah.
And we need to find our way back to the episode, which is lying a problem? Here's my answer. On a 2016 article on thehealthy.com, they refer to a study that was conducted at the University College London, where researchers told participants that overestimating the amount of pennies in a jar would lead to personal gain. The participants' brains were scanned for activity during their responses. When they first began exaggerating the number of pennies in the jar, their AMYGDALA.
Yeah.
Who knows how to say that? Send us a voicemail and we can put it in the next episode, guys. But that part of the brain built in gauge of right and wrong, and it responded strongly in reaction to their dishonesty. But as their exaggerations increased, the response of their decreased, that part of the brain, and showing that the brain becomes desensitized to repetitive dishonesty, which is interesting. That means your brain is like being trained every time you lie and continue to lie. So that's interesting. So with every lie a person tells, the brain essentially feels less and less guilty or ashamed, which can lead to larger and more frequent lies. And then the author of study, Tali Sharat, PhD, told ScienceDaily.com, when we lie for personal gain, our amygdala, I think it's amygdala, our amygdala produces a negative feeling that limits the extent to which we are prepared to lie. However, this response fades as we continue to lie, and the more falls, the bigger our lies become. This may become a slippery slope, Sharat adds, where small acts of dishonesty escalate into more significant lies. And surprisingly enough, most people lie once or twice a day. So that's according to research by Bella DePaulo, PhD, a psychologist at the University of Virginia. So honestly, I think this is just really disturbing. I mean, if you really think about people lying once or twice a day, like the average person, that's truly disturbing. What the hell are people lying about? Like, what the hell are you doing in your life? Like, where are you?
They might lie about what they ate.
Oh. Or maybe it's that situation like, hey, do you like this new skirt? And you're like, girl, it's nasty.
Yeah, like that too. And then what about they say, good morning, how are you? You're not going to say if you're like really sick and depressed or something.
Yeah.
So there can be a lie right there.
It could be. Or like, do you like my new toupee? Kind of situation. Wait, shit.
That's a good one, though. I don't know. You should tell the truth on that one.
Do you? But what if it's your boss?
Oh, okay.
And you're like, it looks
all bets
fabulous.
are off.
It looks fabulous, guys.
That's a tough one. Mm-hmm. Now, how do you actually stop lying?
Pray. No, I'm kidding.
That's all you need to do. Nice.
God is good
Seems
all
pretty
the
easy,
time.
man.
Woohoo! hallelujah.
Yeah.
So according to WikiHow, and again, guys, you'll find all of our links in the episode notes at WokeNFree.com. So there's a couple of steps to really think about. First, you have to first decide to stop lying, right? So you have to like look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm a liar and this is not okay. So once you acknowledge you're a liar, most people are like, I'm the most honest person I know. And it's like, are you telling yourself tales right now? Scary. So, decide and understand why you're lying. That's a really vital one. So yeah, is it your boss who's asking you questions that you don't feel compelled to answer? Is it your spouse bugging you and you don't want to hurt their feelings? Like what are the reasons going on? And then, make a commitment to stop. And then what does that entail? Making a plan. So sometimes you need outside help, like a psychiatrist or psychologist or a coach or someone who can do that for you. Identify triggers. Like what are the things? So like good morning. Are you automatically trained to just say, God is good? Or, and if so.
Or assalamu alaikum.
I know, assalamu alaikum, right? Like where you're just like, today is amazing. And it's like a freaking snowstorm outside. And we were like, that's weird. So what are your triggers, right? What are the verbal triggers? What are physiological triggers? What are mental triggers for you? Identify those. And then if you can't say something's true, then, also, which is what I agree with, which is don't say anything. Just omit, right? Just, I'll talk to you later, right? Divert, move on. It's better than not lying, because I think lying is putting yourself in a predicament that, like you said, it could really escalate and it can kind of get out of control, which is really, really scary. And then the third part of the WikiHow kind of steps to living the righteous life, the Jesus prescribed life would be to stay honest. And so recognizing patterns that cause you to slip, making honesty the core of your character, which we definitely agree with. That's the foundation of our relationship. If you have no truthful ground to stand on, you have no ground at all. So, cut it out, cut the crap, right? Stop lying, and then build good relationships, meaning probably don't be best friends with liars and sociopaths.
You think that could actually be a problem?
Yeah, well, how many people are we related to that are flagrant liars? Right? And
you make a point.
Minimizing your contact with other liars will probably help you lie less. What thoughts do you have?
You are now listening to WokeNFree.
WokeNFree.
WokeNFree. WokeNFree.
WokeNFree.
The podcast that keeps it real and honest.
I actually found a Psychology Today article, and it gives some great tips that line up with the things you were saying. So it mentioned being honest with yourself is a great thing. Just, you gotta know you're a liar, right? So
liar.
Otherwise, you don't know you need to change. So that makes sense.
Yes.
And another thing they brought up is actually stop listening to your critical inner voice. I guess it's telling you stuff that's not necessarily true.
We lie to ourselves all the time. Yeah, absolutely.
So don't listen to that. And then take chances on the people you care about by being a lot more honest and direct with them. So being upfront.
I love how it's phrased as take chances, because it is. Sometimes I feel like honesty is riskier than lying.
It's a risky outcome.
It just shows what kind of effed up world we live in, where honesty is the dangerous path.
Honesty can get you violence, actually, too.
Honesty can get you killed. Honesty can get you assaulted. Honesty can F up your life. That's why politicians are like, nah, player.
It can do a lot of different things. It can go a lot of different ways. Yeah.
It can F up your life, unfortunately, because we don't live in a world where honesty is respected more
it's
than
not
dishonesty.
That's the thing. It's kind of like depending on what you did previously, lying might actually be better than the honesty, because the consequence is so drastic. That's the thing.
But
so people will avoid that drastic consequence by lying, even though they already messed up. It's like you already did whatever crime or misdoing you did. Now you just don't want that consequence, so you lie to get around it. So that's where honesty is kind of hard. But honesty, it is what it is, right? It's not like you didn't know that there was a consequence. You probably knew when you did whatever the misdeed was. You probably knew there was a consequence. That's the only reason you even know to lie, right? If you didn't think there was any issue, you'd always still be honest, because then you wouldn't be scared of the consequence. So it's kind of like you did that action knowing that there's a consequence for it, but now you're trying to like cover it up. I mean, you gotta own up to our actions is kind of the thing.
I think ultimately,
It's about owning up.
The information shared in this episode, and hopefully a billion people listen to it, recognize just how effed up this world is, because honesty is always the better policy.
Yeah, it's the best.
But we don't behave that way, and we punish people for telling the truth, which is
society does that. Yeah,
it's recreating cycles of lying and liars. And I think, guys, we have to remember we're leading the breadcrumbs for the youth and the people coming up behind us. So if we're flagrant sociopathic liars, what do you expect from our children and their children and their children? Like, all these climate deniers, like, y'all are telling tales. You know that the climate change is a real thing. It is not alternative facts. And you're just like messing with people's minds, and it also creates distrust amongst us all. So when also sometimes people say things, like, you look at them and you're like, do you really feel that way? Like, it's so much harder to understand how to connect with people if everyone's a liar. Like, it's deeply concerning.
I mean, you end up harming society. That's what happened with lead, and why we had lead and everything, because there was people that denied that it was even bad.
Creepy.
So it took years and years before it was actually just made illegal.
Crazy.
Because lead is completely poisonous to all living beings, not just humans, to everything. It's a dangerous substance.
And
lead is terrible.
Like, oh, no, it's cool.
I'm like, no, lead's good, because lead it was good for using in paint. Like, it made things stick. It has good properties, but not for living things. It kills living things. It's poisonous.
That's horrifying.
And people were denying it, just like the climate change. They were like, nah, science is wrong. So
that's what's going on with like this Michigan Flint situation, because like,
I don't know if they have lead in their water. I don't know.
No, but they have like these poisoned water, right? And then, but now no one's talking about it. But I don't think the situation is solved.
Oh, they acted like there was a solution, but I don't think the solution was implemented. That's what happened.
And then there's all these people with like disorders now, and their children are sick and stuff, and
it's kind of crazy.
Lies and fairy tales, guys.
That's
we have
lies.
to stop.
Yep. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? It's scenario time, guys. Scenario 1. Usagi is continually late to high school because she helps everyone on her way, as a good Samaritan should. Unfortunately, she never tells the teacher the truth and comes up with other excuses like forgetting to charge her phone or the cat soiling her clothes. Should she tell the truth in this situation?
There are so many things wrong with this scenario, Khalil. What her name's Usagi?
Yeah.
We're just going to start there. First of all, where have you ever met someone named Usagi? Let me know what part of the world you're traveling in your mind.
You haven't been to Japan enough. I think that might be a common name.
And why is her cat soiling her clothing?
That's her excuse that she makes up. That's all part of the excuses. See, that's the thing. It's not the truth, but she's saying that.
Who would come up with a lie like that?
Because you know how some cats, they like to like mark territory? It's like that.
And her cat has a problem with her clothing?
Yeah, it keeps marking her clothes. That's what
lies and fairy tales.
But it's a lie though. Yeah, that's the whole point. She's telling her teacher that. But she's actually not doing that.
With a straight face.
Yeah.
Smart.
For some reason, she doesn't want to tell. She's not telling the truth about her helping out people.
She has like a Robin Hood complex situation going on.
Well, but she's not robbing anybody. She just doesn't want to let people know that she's like, looking out for others. Yeah. I don't know why, but that's what she does.
So I think in this situation, she definitely needs to stop telling the lie of cats soiling her clothing. That's disastrous.
You think that's pretty bad?
Yeah, because it's making me question other things happening in her household. So I'm very concerned about Usagi.
Okay.
I think she should, if a teacher confronts you about something, I think that if you're doing a good thing, whether you're doing a good thing or a bad thing, you have to fess up to what you're doing in life. I think you have to, at the end of the day, do you want dignity in your life or not? And to be a dignified person is to be an honest person and to stand on the ground of truth. And so she, in this situation, is not doing something bad. So whether she gets detention or not, at the end of the day, she should be proud that she's helping out people and she's being a good Samaritan. So she should tell the truth and stop telling tales, because she probably doesn't even have a cat. So it's really wild and crazy right now.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I think she should tell the truth since she's doing something good. It makes it really easy.
Only since she's doing something good. Nice morality.
It makes it easy to tell the teacher the truth.
Nice.
It's hard to tell the teacher the truth sometimes.
Blah, 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 blah.
It's hard. Sometimes it's hard, but if you're doing a good thing, maybe you'll get bonus points for that next test. They'll be like,
this is why you've been a long time out of school. You don't have effing clue what's happening.
I'm trying to get bonus points for her, so definitely tell.
And the cat too. Yeah,
Yeah, but remember, she sometimes forgets to charge her phone, so that's an excuse as well. True. And you're okay with that excuse, even if it's not.
I don't know how it has anything to do with the tea in China, but yeah, sure.
It happens though. Scenario 2. Ruby saw her best friend Brett making out with her manager. The problem is, both of them are in committed relationships. Ruby told Brett what she saw, and he said he was sorry and lost control. Her manager loves to brag about her relationship in front of the other employees, and likes to get confirmation from them. Ruby just nods and smiles, keeping the truth from everyone else. Is Ruby lying?
Ooh, that's a very, Dr. Phil situation going on. I like it since his show seemed to have gone a different turn. Take a different turn, but that's interesting. So what's fascinating about this scenario is that Ruby, shout out to a nice name of Ruby, thank you. She, it's not really her truth to tell. Like, she's really not in this relation. Like, she saw two people who are in relationships
and she knows
acting
both of
poorly, and she knows them both. But really, it's those two people in that relationship that are responsible for fessing up to their partner, their significant others. It's really not her truth to share, like, to either the Ruby's boss's partner or Brett's partner. I think, she did confront Brett, which is good because, who knows how that could have gone, because Brett could have turned out and punched her in the face or said, "You're a liar."
That's a best friend, so hopefully your best friend doesn't react violently towards the truth.
Times change very quickly when it comes to emotions or money.
That's a bad best friend, though. If they get violent towards you for seeing them getting caught in the wrongdoing, that's pretty bad.
In response to you busting up their, the thing they're doing, the bad thing they're doing.
Well, that's different. But if you come to them directly and just tell them what you saw, they shouldn't be violent towards you.
One would hope.
That would be pretty, but that's not a best friend if they're violent towards you.
So,
Wow. But then that's not a best friend. Your best friend can get violent with you, but they can't get violent with you for something they did and you came to them personally and talked about it. If you outed them in public, then yeah, they could then I understand. It's like, man, you blew up my spot, but I'm coming to you mano a mano. You should not be blowing up on me. That doesn't make sense. Like, that's not a best friend then. I would be classified.
They could have lost their mind for the moment.
Yeah, that's a real trip. That's a real trip.
I think ultimately, would Ruby be lying by not telling her supervisor's partner or Brett's partner? I mean,
or what about her coworkers? Because remember the last part of this, the manager acts like the manager's in a perfect situation.
That's a rough one. I mean, my honest gut thing is just to tell her that I saw. I would confront.
You confront the manager now,
and the manager, just to let them know that you might want to do this in another position, because I could have been your partner who had seen you guys doing this, and this would have been bad. But you risk losing your job, and you also risk your relationship with Brett. So her friendship with Brett. So it's a tricky guy. It depends on what the truth is worth to her. So if it's more important to be a truthful, honest person, then you lay it out on the table no matter what. If you don't value truth more than your employment and maybe eating, then you keep what you saw to yourself. And
do you think she's technically lying or not really?
No, the two people are lying. If she's only lying if someone comes up to her and asks her about her supervisor, saying, "Oh, is this a committed person?" She obviously, if she says yes, then that's a lie. Only if she's one-on-one confronted.
So alright, so at least she's not lying in this situation, because she just doesn't say anything about it.
As long as no one confronts her about either Brett or the supervisor.
Otherwise, she'd have to laugh in their face, right?
Well, she would be like, "I don't know. I'm not them," right? And just be funny and just move on.
She can't just say, "You guys are really funny. You have great jokes."
Or my favorite line now in life is blah, 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 blah.
That's what she can say?
I would go do that. Blah, 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 blah.
I mean, I guess that's a neutral response.
Exactly.
Because you don't know if you agree or disagree.
People know, obviously, you're having problems in the movie.
Well, maybe you just don't like discussing that.
True.
That's a little thing. They're like, all right, I won't bring this up with you again.
Yeah, because you
say the same thing.
Psychopath.
Yeah, you say the same thing each time.
And you? Is she lying according to you?
I mean, I'd be mad at her for, if I was everybody else, I would wish her to tell me the truth, that this person's lying, but I know
it's not her dirty secret.
I know it's not hers, but if I was a coworker and just, I would hate having the boss lie to me and another coworker know.
Because you can get in trouble too, gossiping about
she got to be very careful.
That's why I don't think it's smart to be telling
Yeah,
tales
she's
to
technically
people.
not lying though. So she's actually in the okay right here. I mean, I would hope that eventually.
But she
the
does have
manager-
leverage over her supervisor.
Yeah, now she's
If her
got
supervisor
something.
ever wants to mess with her, you know.
No, you just say, "I see you, I see you."
I see you,
But
even
see,
when
then,
you don't see me.
But see, then technically she'd have to confront the manager then and
Yeah.
let the manager know what she saw. She hasn't confronted the manager
Sure.
yet, so she would have to do
But
that.
she could, and then she
could
could say-
though, yeah.
Employee at will, fire.
She could, yeah. It's
Sucks
something
be
to hold
you.
on to.
Yeah.
Scenario 3. Bartholomew has worked 13 years in the computer lab at a local community college. For fun, he likes to tell the students he used to work for a large tech firm and help develop the video face filter technology used on all social media platforms today. Why is Bartholomew lying?
Because his name's Bartholomew.
Come on.
Does the duck cross the road? I mean, what the hell are you talking about?
That's funny because I know you don't even know where that comes from.
Is it something old?
Oh, you were close.
What?
You were about to say it.
No, I wasn't.
You weren't?
No, what are you saying?
What's the shortened version of this name?
Oh, Simpsons, Bart?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah, that's his full name.
They're out of control. on
Isn't that
show.
funny? That's
They're
a real
out of
name.
control.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
no,
a
I
real-
know it is old, but I didn't think it was like...
That's his name. That's where it comes from.
Thank
Bart
God
is short.
they don't,
It's short
they
for
don't
that.
call him that. That's
Well, yeah, it
awful.
would be nuts, right? If they went by the full name, it'd be crazy.
I couldn't even spell it. I can't even with people. So yeah, I mean, he's lying because he's actively telling tales. He's saying he did something when in fact he didn't.
Why is he doing it though?
Because he needs kind of this accreditation or this type of spotlight, like what we talked about before, when people want to feel like they did something more bigger and glamorous than what his actual life has been, which again is very admirable. Being a teacher at at a college.
Well, he's not a teacher.
Oh well, he worked in the lab. So
Yeah, the computer lab. Meaning he's the person that just makes sure no one steals the computers.
Here you go.
And no, guess what? Nope. I'm sorry. He changes the paper and the copier.
You're effed up right now.
No, he
because
does.
You're throwing shade.
He does.
You're just messed up
No,
right
he does.
now.
Oh, all right. Technically, he has to change the ink too. I mean, that has to be done.
Blah blah blah.
Stop, Josh. Come on, give credit where credit is due. Because when we were in those computer labs and the paper ran out, we're like, oh man. And it's Bartholomew to the rescue.
You really are talking a lot of shit right now.
That's an admirable job. I mean, come on. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Okay, Bart. So you had a job and you worked somewhere.
Yeah. See, why did you say that? Dude, you're being so messed up right now. This is a real job, Tosh. Come on.
So is life.
Someone has to do this.
Someone does have to do
This would have been a fun job in college to have. It would have been
It
definitely
would have
fun.
been, except you could have gotten paper cuts, which would have sucked.
Well, you just lotion up your fingers, I think.
Maybe just wear your latex gloves.
Then you look like a killer. You definitely couldn't do that. Yeah, then people would be.
Bart the killer.
Yeah, you're gonna get complaints. Then I know you would if they wore gloves while doing that.
Well, yeah. Well, if you go up to the girls and you're like, "Hi," you're like, "Oh God, please stop."
Yeah, you can do that with your gloves on. Yeah.
Hello there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if you said that, then it'd be
This is
like,
a horror story. We are not up to Halloween yet, guys. We have to hold it together. So he's lying because, yeah, he did not work at the tech firm and he did not develop this video face filter technology. That is the lie.
yeah.
So, and he's actively saying this. No one said this about him. He's perpetuating his own lie. He might be a sociopath.
So you think what's the reason he's doing it? What's the purpose though?
Because he wants to be seen. He wants attention. He's thirsty. He's
That's
thriving.
all it is. Oh, all right.
And then also maybe he really likes that app, that the technology. Maybe he feels like he could have done it. I mean, or maybe he was working on
We don't
something
know.
like
Yeah,
that.
we don't know
he
anything
just-
else about him. We don't know
Yeah.
what is any of his
We
other
just know
choices.
he needs to change his name. That's all we do know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So why do you think Bart is lying?
I think he's ashamed of his career.
Stop it. Okay, that's enough from you. You're talking too much smack.
No,
right
this
now.
is just that's a hunch. That's my hunch. That's only the thing I thought, but I could be wrong.
Well, maybe if we ever meet someone like this in this particular situation, he can inform us.
Oh, you know why? Because they didn't call him by his title. He likes to be called a computer lab technician.
I'm so done with you. We are at this time.
Oh, come on.
It is coming to the end of our 106th episode of
Woke and Free!
Wowzers.
Yikes.
Wowzers.
Yikes is what I say to
Literally
you.
cracking glass at this point, guys. This was quite the episode talking about why people lie. Will we leave you hanging for what our next episode will be about? Drum roll, please.
On our next episode, we'll be doing a special episode called Woke and Free Storytime. So join us next week for this very new episode segment. Make sure you follow us on social media to follow along in the conversation, and make sure you tune in next week for Woke and Free Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
If you'd like to be a guest on this show, please submit a topic for an upcoming episode, and also share how you feel about any of the topics we've talked about, any thoughts you have on future episode topics on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. That is WokenFree.com. If you want to hit us up on social media, you'll find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at WokeNFree. Sponsorship inquiries, guys. If you are interested in sponsoring an upcoming episode, want to talk about some type of deal or endorsement, you can easily find us on our Contact Us page, again, at WokenFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do, share the episode, and make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for Woke and Free Wednesdays. Remember, Woke and Free is more than a podcast, it is a way of life. Until next time.